Okay, so I know that I missed last week. I'm sorry about that. I was in Washington, D.C., if you were curious. If you want a proof picture of that I wasn't just being lazy and just casually taking the week off just because, here's a proof picture right here. Okay, anyway, now that that's over with, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Titans Rundown. I am your host, Micah McCamey, and for my podcasting people that are listening from Apple Podcasts or Spotify, sorry about the wait on this. Last week, the March Madness episode, the last time that I did record the March Madness episode, took over the Titans episode. And last week, I didn't really have time to record because, well, again, you saw the proof picture. I was in DC. So, you know, um, I'm just trying to get back into the swing of things now. So, yeah, now we have to talk about some of the draft stuff, which has been something that has been constantly going on and on and on and on. And we're just kind of dying for it to be over with at this point. So, we're going to answer that question in the title today. Who do the Titans want with the first overall pick? Now, we got to narrow this down, right? There have only really been 4 options in this entire process, okay? Those 4 being number 1, Shedeur Sanders, number 2, Cam Ward, number 3, Abdul Carter, and number 4, Travis Hunter, right? Those have been the 4 options that everybody's been talking about. Which one could go first overall? We've had moments where it's been like, oh, it might be Shedeur. We've had moments where it's like, oh, Abdul. Then it was Travis Hunter at one point, whenever they said generational prospect in the opening introduction interview. And then there was also even a little bit of talk about, hey, what if it's Cam Ward? And that's probably the one that's been most talked about. So in today's episode, we're going to be talking about who do we think the Tennessee Titans will draft with the first overall pick. So let's start the narrowing down process. Let's start out with some news that came out just this past week, why don't we? The Tennessee Titans are not going to Colorado's Pro Day, or at least the 2 most important people for that, Chad Brinker and Brian Callahan, are not going to the Colorado Pro Day. That should tell you a lot about who Callahan wants and who Chad Brinker wants. Now, who knows? Maybe Borgonzi sees something special in Shedeur and he wants him over Cam Ward. Who knows? But judging by that alone, it doesn't seem like that they do want Shedeur, and the same goes for Travis Hunter, because even if they didn't want Shedeur, you feel like that they would have at least showed up for the pro day for a Travis Hunter or something like that. I'll be honest, I've never thought that Travis Hunter was ever in the conversation with this number 1 overall pick. Especially considering it didn't seem like that cornerback and receiver, even though we still have a need for at least one of those positions, it's very obvious that those are not our biggest needs, at least right now. So that kind of eliminated him from the start. So what do I think of this? I think that this is a fine thing, honestly. There is no need, first off, to spend the number 1 overall pick on a really good receiver and really good defensive back. Now, here's the thing, right? His two-way play, obviously, that's going to get him a lot of favors with a lot of scouts. Me personally, yes, it does get me a lot of favor, and that's why I would have him going top 5 instead of top 15. But, I think that he is a really good receiver, and I think he's a really good defensive back, but I do not think that he is an elite, or, well, let me think, really good cornerback, really good receiver, but I don't think he'll be at the top of the game at either of those positions come the NFL level. Obviously he was at the top of the game whenever it came to defensive backs last year, and you could even argue that he was at the top of the game whenever it came to wide receivers last year. Okay, maybe not receivers, but still, you get what I'm saying. Obviously, he was considered really high up there. I don't think he's ever going to get there in the NFL, but since he is good at both positions, you take that into consideration. But my thing is that I personally, if I'm going to be drafting somebody that high, I want him to be elite at least one thing, especially if he's going 2 ways. I mean, if whether that's him being an elite receiver, an elite DB, whatever, just let him be elite at one of those 2 positions. But since he's just really good, I just don't see us spending the first overall pick on that. And again, it's not a big position of need. Shedeur, I sang my song on this guy so many times. I've said everything in the book about this dude. But here's the thing, right? He is not a franchise quarterback. I am so sorry for all the people that think that he is, and I'm not too sure if I'm just bursting your hopes and dreams right here. Don't take it from me. I'm not a film guy, honestly. Like, I just listen to the people that do actually watch film and can understand it pretty well. But like, from what I've heard from all the people, like, he has the ceiling of being a really good quarterback, but his floor and middle ground aren't really that great. Like, his floor is really, really bad, and his middle ground, what people expect him to be. Matt Hasselbeck went on to ESPN recently and said, "Oh yeah, I think he's just another Andy Dalton." Like, I don't want another Andy Dalton. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want, if I'm going to get somebody with a first overall pick, I want another. Patrick Mahomes is a lofty expectation. Josh Allen, too. Like, any of the top five guys is a little bit lofty. But I at least want, that one's tough. Who is somebody that's like elite right now, but isn't like at the very top with the Mahomes, Allens, the Lamars? That one's tough. Like, I want a Joe Burrow. Like, I know, again, he was awesome last year statistically and all that stuff. And yes, I do think that he is elite, but I want somebody that is like similar to rookie season Joe Burrow, really, really solid, really a good player, but he's not like, uh, well, I just want a really good player with the first overall pick. I don't want, I want an elite player with the first overall pick. I don't want to settle for somebody that, even though he's going to be really good, he's not going to change the entire trajectory of your franchise. I want somebody that shows the traits of, oh yeah, I'm going to be elite in a few years. Like, I don't want a guy that's just like, oh yeah, I'll be pretty good. Could be like a Baker Mayfield or Kirk Cousins type. No, I want somebody that's like, oh yeah, I could be a Joe Burrow type or a prime. Let me think of a random example. Man, that's tough. Or like just a prime version of some of the best quarterbacks that we've seen over the past 2 decades. Peyton Manning is obviously the highest expectation that you have of a number one overall pick, but like, even just an Eli Manning in the playoffs specifically. That Eli Manning, that is what I want from a quarterback with the first overall pick. And I just don't see Shedeur Sanders being that. Like, again, if I was more popular, people would deem me the biggest Shedeur Sanders hater in the entirety of the community. I promise you I'm not that. I think that he actually has the chance to go on a nice little Geno Smith type arc after he bombs with whatever team he goes to first. But anywho, it is what it is. But yeah, so Colorado prospects are out. I'm happy about that. I'm content with that. So that just makes me happy. Okay. Now let's go to what Callahan and Bergonzi have said. They said that they have a quote unquote short list. Basically, it has 4 people. I think we know who those 4 people are. And they've said that they are overall undecided. Okay, so I think we can all agree that that's a load of bullcrap, right? Like, it's a bunch of smoke and mirrors. I do not believe for a second that they don't have somebody in mind for the first overall pick. I am 100% confident that Borgonzi and Callahan have decided, yeah, this is going to be our guy, and they're just not wanting to reveal it right now. Okay, and they're doing this well enough to the point where they're not even saying, oh yeah, we're not. They've said that we're not trading Will Levis, which, again, another thing, not true. We can agree on that. Like, I don't think for a second that they don't at least consider trading Will Levis this offseason. But it does seem like they're keeping their hand close to their chest, to say the least. They're not letting anybody see what's going to happen. And they've been very conservative in every interview that they've taken because there's really no benefit in revealing who you want as the first overall pick. Like, I mean, I guess that, like, if you said, oh yeah, we're taking Cam Ward with that first overall pick, then somebody could be like, oh yeah, we'll give you like some desperate team like let me think of a random example. The Giants just comes in and is just like, we'll give you 5 first round picks. Like, that's the only benefit to me, at least. But yeah, no, I do not believe for a second that they don't at least have, like, I get if you don't have the one, it's still a month. We still have a month before the draft. But I would be genuinely shocked if you didn't have at least this list down to 2. So, again, don't think that's true. Whatever. Sorry if this episode's a little shorter. It's just because of the fact that, again, in the off season, especially during this time between the draft and between free agency and the draft, is like really just blah with news. Like, I barely get anything from the Davenports and the Wyatts of the world. So take that with a grain of salt. Oh yeah, we signed. Oh wait, hold on. Random sidetrack. Right before we get into the last part of this episode, we signed Tim Boyle. 7-29 quarterback room overall. Yeah, no, Tim Boyle. I still don't get how he gets on the NFL rosters. Was terrible in college. Has been terrible in the NFL every chance that he's gotten. Like, he must have like something. Like, he must have the most legendary training camp arm of all time if he keeps on getting these opportunities. Like, I refuse to believe that he's getting these opportunities because they see something in him whenever he's playing on the field. Like, I refuse to believe that. But anywho, that was a sidetrack. Going back to this, it's the last part. Who's it going to be? Okay, we've narrowed it down really just to 2 candidates. It's either Cam Ward or Abdul Carter. Nobody else, I think, is even in consideration. I think that they have been thinking long and hard about this, but we can look at a couple of things. Which pro day did the entire staff go to? And who did they have the most workouts with? Yeah, no, it's Cam Ward. I just, man, I've been hinting at that just a little bit throughout the episode, but I think that's very obviously going to end up being Cam Ward ends up becoming the first overall pick. Pack your bags, son. You're going to be a Tennessee Titan soon. Like, do we really think that there is going to be any other outcome? Like, I don't see for a second somebody else swooping in and just giving a generational offer. And here's the thing, if we were actually trading up to number 1, after I said that, oh yeah, they're, still open to it, but you would hear a lot more buzz than just Schefter if they were genuinely open to it. You would at least hear something from one of the local guys like Buck, Kaharski, even Easton Freeze. You would hear something from them. But they haven't said anything about that. And they have also very heavily hinted at Cam Ward being the number 1 overall pick. So I think it's going to be Cam Ward. I'm kind of locking that in right now, unless a trade down happens. If that happens, then I don't know. I guess we are going to go with Abdul Carter. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on this whole thing. And here's the thing. I love Cam Ward. Like, here's the thing, right? Man, I let media bias get the best of me. Okay, I turned my back on Cam Ward for a couple of weeks, but I promise you that I've always liked Cam Ward. Like, I talk about this. Like, I remember it was like way back a few years ago. I was first getting into college football, and I was watching Josh Pate, you know him, the late kick, and I remember thinking to myself, who are some guys I may need to get to know? And I remember one of the first episodes that I watched of him was him talking about, okay, so this is what you need to watch out for this next season for somebody that could be under the radar. And the first person that he mentions is Cam Ward at Washington State. And I remember just looking up some plays from the kid, and I was just thinking, golly, this guy can ball. And then I just kind of kept track of him, and I remember thinking, hey, he's playing pretty stinking good at Washington State. And yes, there is good film of him at Washington State that does exist, I'm telling you. And then he transferred to Miami, and I was just like, oh yeah, this kid's going to dominate. I could see him having a Joe Burrow type rise in the draft. And well, I was technically right about that part. It's just that I didn't stay consistent enough with my opinion on Cam Ward about him being the franchise quarterback to go out and just be like, oh yeah, this is my guy. I want him with the first overall pick. But I'm just telling y'all, man, Cam Ward's a baller. He's a good leader. Okay, his teammates seem to love him. And it also seems like that he just has had success everywhere he goes. He's been doubted at every level in high school, college, and now apparently in the NFL. Like, I don't know, man. He's gonna be good. I just really have a feeling about it. And even if the Titans don't draft him, if we shock the world and go with Abdul Carter or heaven forbid, Shadur Sanders or Travis Hunter at number 1, then somebody else is going to get a dang good quarterback. This is not something that I'm going to flip my opinion on about. If he goes to the Giants, I'm going to be like, he's going to be absolutely terrible now. Like, I don't know what that voice was, but like, I'm not going to completely flip-flop my opinion on him if he does end up going to another team. I do genuinely believe that Cam Ward is going to be a franchise quarterback somewhere. And it'll probably end up being Tennessee, but we'll just have to wait and see. Okay, that's today's episode. I'm exhausted. I'm recording this at dang near 10 o'clock at night. Like, it's been a long day. I'm sorry, but like, that's really it. I have Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok all under the Titans Rundown if you want to go follow those. I'm still active on the Vols Rundown on Twitter and Instagram. It's just I'm taking a little break from the podcast. So if you want to go follow those too, then I'm chill with that. But anyway, that's going to do it all for me. This has been a rundown of your Tennessee Titans and in a very unedited video. I love y'all and tighten up.